Welcome to The Prize Inside. The Prize Inside. A chiropractor's journey in everyday holistic health and vitality. Here, your host, Dr. Jeromy Myers, delves into the remarkable journeys of everyday people who have embraced the path to health and healing. Through his practice, Dr. Jeromy encounters inspiring stories of profound transformation and the power of true healing within each of us. Stay tuned as we discuss various holistic topics and unlock the healing potential that lies within us all.
All right. Welcome, everybody. Sorry about that. Oh, man. So I apologize for a little bit of the technicalities there. I have for tonight's show, I usually have it being able to be downloaded in to the StreamYard technology. But this one, I can still screen share, so it'll be the same. But I just got it. It's going to be a little clunkier, so I apologize. Hopefully everybody's having a great weekend. Got to celebrate the life of one of my favorite patients of all time, Larry Puff. That was fantastic. Man of many things that we got to see his celebration yesterday. One of the most remarkable parts of my practice, and like when you get into this, is the friends you meet along the way. And he was one of those. That was one of those remarkable men. When you get into doctor school, you don't realize that there's actually people going to ask you questions before you ask them how you feeling, those kind of things. So without getting too wishy-washy, Larry, you will be missed. Aaron and his family are amazing people. Just blessed to be even in the vicinity of that. So with that said, let's talk about some knee stuff. Tonight is natural pain relief, what your body already knows. Okay, so we're going to go over some knee stuff tonight in the holistic aspect of things, and hopefully we'll get some gains out of this. One of the things that I've had some good luck with, some really natural easy stuff that's kind of remarkable. Before, there was a lot of therapies, those kind of things. And those are good, but what if you have that knee pain that you're like, I'm not necessarily sure I got to go to, I got to go in for therapy, or you can feel the knees kind of talking to you, but you don't know if it's going to be that big a deal, or those kind of things. This is also going to be the ones that want to avoid the surgery. One of the hardest parts is in our society is, like, once you have knee problems, supposedly you have to have surgery for some reason. Sorry, my dog Olive is hanging around a little bit tonight. So anyway, so the biggest thing is like understanding what you're going to learn tonight is an understanding that may, change your knee direction. Where I've seen it. I've seen where somebody was told they need a knee replacement and they never had to get it. You don't hear that in actual society. But hang on real quick. I'm going to go get my dog a bone real quick, because if I do not, she will drive me. Okay, I'm back. Dear Lord. This dog is like timed perfectly. Like the moment it turns like 9:00, it's on for the bone thing. It is wild, like how they can tell time like that. And she's got me wrapped around their finger, like all my family would say. But before we get started, remember, I'm up to almost 60 people on our newsletter. So our newsletter is tribe1, trib1.substack.com. It's going to be the place where you can get the transcript of this kind of information that we'd go over, you can have that right at it's free to do. It gets anything new. I'm gonna keep adding to different things on the Tribe One. So tribe1.com. So I'm sorry, tribe1.substack.com. Substack's a pretty amazing. It's a really cool place where you can get really good information. The Dr. Mercola that I use through Substack. He's got a great Substack plus his website, obviously. But one of the neat things about Substack is you can go through, message back and forth. It's really, really cool. I had a patient get on Substack and was able to message me directly about a show. So that's why I want this. So like tribe1.substack.com is your first place. And then, of course, subscribe to The Prize Inside a Chiropractor's Journey on Rumble and The Prize Inside a Chiropractor's Journey on YouTube. So with that said, don't forget to do that. Subscribe, do all the little clicky buttons for me. It'll be good. I'm up above 80 in Rumble. I'm so pumped. If I get to 100, I get to do something cool, but I'm not sure what that is yet. So with that said, let's get into, so I'm going to do a screen share because that's the way I can. Tonight it's being a little clunky. Slide view. Slideshow. Okay, here we go. Let me see what it looks like on here. Hold for processing. Okay, perfect. It looks good. So we're going to be talking about natural pain relief, what your body already knows. And it's the prize inside, what we need to know to literally protect our knees, to give the innate intelligence that power that it needs to not think that if we have wear and tear in our knees, it's over. We have to have all these things. What if we could literally rehab knees to where we could actually get there? So my hope is tonight's will be pretty interesting as far as that goes. Okay, so what we're gonna go over the latest information on knee rehab. Okay, so the rehabilitation that I've been studying, it's going to be interesting, but there's some cool new things coming out in the supplementation world. Quite a few different studies that came out on what is the best stuff for, rehab, exercise, all those kind of things, and what we can do tonight to change the trajectory of a knee that's on its way to surgery. Okay, so we want to also to begin understanding there's a chance to rehab the knee, and it's not just buying time for surgery. It might get you actual results where you don't have to have the surgery. Okay, so this is pretty interesting. The biggest new research that came out lately, and now that Whole Health Weekly, Wednesday night, 8:30, is when I get to see a lot of this new research. So stick with me if you like this podcast. Get on Wednesday night as well. Or if you're watching a podcast, it'll be like Thursday, right, when we download it and stuff. But the idea is that I get to research all these different things and stay up on all the latest and greatest. So gait retraining, okay, and we're going to go a lot through that tonight. So it's foot angle adjustment. There was a year-long randomized trial out of Stanford, NYU, and Utah found that slightly changing the angle of a person's foot while walking reduced knee pain as effectively as common medications and even slowed cartilage damage. Did you hear that? That's crazy. So most of us have the knee pain, and then we go into starting to take medications for that knee pain, right? What happens, and we talk about this all the time at the office, once you start pain medications are very powerful. They actually work really, really well. They have some masterful minds behind them. The problem is, if I take away all of your pain in that one area, what's going to happen? You're going to use it in the area that would cause you pain initially, right? And so a lot of times you're just masking it to the point of my favorite old chiropractic mantra It's kind of like your oil light comes on in your car and you put duct tape over that oil light. It's not a great solution. What they're saying is that we can retrain, and it's actually more effective for knee pain in reduction than common medications, and even helped slow the cartilage damage that's happening. Okay. It's literally about restoring the body's natural movement pattern rather than masking the pain. The benefit depended on careful, personalized measurement, and the wrong adjustment could actually increase the stress. So it's not just a generic turn your toes this certain way kind of fix. But that is the biggest one. Knee braces, hydrotherapy, and exercise are outperforming drugs. These are the two studies I wanted to show you guys first. A major meta-analysis of nearly 10,000 patients found knee braces, hydrotherapy, which we'll talk about in a little bit, and exercise can significantly ease osteoarthritis symptoms while avoiding the risks tied to common medications. Specifically, knee braces ranked highest overall for reducing pain, improving joint function, and easing stiffness, while hydrotherapy was especially helpful for pain relief. This is strong and simple, right? And it works really, really good in what we're doing. Okay, so let's talk about this, and then we'll take a little thing. So this is kind of interesting. This is just cool new tech I found that I thought you guys might be interested in. This is the new technology that is coming into the pipe, because there's a lot of it, and we got to look at it from an innate intelligent perspective. But this one's called genicular artery embolization. Now, I'm not sure I'm going to tell you about it. Doesn't mean I'm a big fan yet. Okay. This is not something like that, but I want you to know it's out there. This is the big trending one in mainstream medicine right now. It's a minimally invasive procedure where a treatment that blocks inflammation driving blood vessels in the knee provided significant pain relief and improved function for osteoarthritis patients, with benefits lasting at least a year. It's mainstream, moving towards less invasive options. It's good ammo if you want conventional. It's starting to evaluate, maybe you don't need a huge surgery, right? So it's called genicular artery embolization. That's kind of a new thing. So what it does, let's go over that again. It's minimally invasive, where they go in and they block the inflammation driving blood vessels in the knee. Okay. So one of the things I would have to say on that one, just out of suggestion, is like inflammation is there for a purpose. So is this just a fancy way to do, pain medication? Quite possibly. And so are you actually improving the function of your knee or giving your innate intelligence that ability to do that? I don't know. It's one of those that it'd be very interesting if, let's say you got your knee to a point where you'd have to do something like that, and to actually fix the mechanics that we're going to talk about tonight. In the meantime, and so like we say, like most chiropractors aren't going to say we don't want a world with, cardiologists, orthopedic surgeons, any of those things, right? But we're trying to get you guys something where that's not, it's something happens and we go there, right? That's the biggest difference. So now here's another one that's kind of interesting. This is the other tech that's coming, but remember, these are all, so I wouldn't say either of these two are innate intelligence kind of worthy because of what it's doing. It's this outside in philosophy, right? So Stanford cartilage regeneration discovery. Okay. So it's Stanford researchers found that blocking this thing called the 15-PGDH protein led to a cartilage regeneration in aging mice and human tissue samples from knee replacement surgeries. The first treatment shows actual regeneration than just symptom management, but it's still early in trials, but it's a hopeful note to end on. So this one, it's blocking a certain protein, and that because it's blocking that protein, it allowed it led to cartilage regeneration. So I thought that was pretty cool. I was like, man, that one's an interesting one to let people know. Now, is it one of those that, chiropractic? No, not necessarily, but it's good to know that other information. Okay. Did all this. Oops. Okay. Yeah. So we did that. It's called 15 PGD, 15 hydroxyprostaglandin dehydrogenase. It's let's see. It's a protein whose levels increase with age and suppress the body's tissue repair capacity. Ooh, that's interesting. So this is a little bit more on it. It's not technically a peptide though. So you're going to hear those peptides. It's still it's a small molecule drug that inhibits the enzyme. Okay. So this enzyme, this 15 hydroxyprostaglandin dehydrogenase is something that we increases with age. We create it more with age, which then leads to, it breaks down this thing called prostaglandin E2. And it's showing that it stops a lot of those stem cells from doing what we want it to do. Because one of the things that you have to remember is that we have our own stem cells. We literally, our goal is to see if we can take our stem cells, the living ones, nothing within, and to me, this is the most exciting part of all, health and healing, because we're not there yet. We keep moving closer to those things. And that's why I like showing you the technology a little bit, because if you understand it, maybe there's things that we can understand holistically that would do that. Now, I didn't know about this protein that gets produced that actually causes some of that osteoarthritis to start happening. And if you stopped it from happening, right, got me down a whole nother rabbit hole of like, okay, so, as we age, what kicks up that, that protein, the 15 hydroxyprostaglandin dehydrogenase? What is that gets that going to the point that it causes us to not use our stem cells properly? So that's why I really, really like the technology that comes out. And this is kind of new. It's not totally out there yet, but it'll be like an injection or, those kind of things. So just remember these kind of situations. They're trying to look for various things to get people like the knee pain. Now, my goal tonight is to give us some things that start going in that other direction where we could actually use those knees. Yeah. Think about this. I love this one. Somebody has a left knee problem, right? They got arthritis all over the knee. But if you took it it says it's a left knee problem. So then you take an x-ray of the right knee and there's no arthritis there. What's that all about? You know what I mean? Wouldn't you have arthritis in both? Well, if you understand what the very first thing that was in the research said, the mechanics of how you hit the ground, the way we walk, is so critical that a lot of times you could have altered mechanics in that left leg. Let's say you sprained your left ankle, caused your ankle and foot to be in a bad situation for years, and you just adapted to it. That's why in chiropractic, one of the things that we tell you, I want to evaluate all of it. I want to evaluate from your neck down to your toes. And the reason is because maybe we can fix the mechanics of all the alls, right? I think we're getting to a point where maybe some of these cool technologies can actually help us do those things. Okay. So that's where I would be at. Like if, as we go, just remember, I just wanted to throw a couple cool things. Like I'm a smart person. Wanted to show you those that come across once in a while. I thought those were good. So that's where I'm at with the technology part. But why bring them up? Because it's about improving and taking care of ourselves, which is what science is figuring out. That is the ultimate way to repair. And if we can start taking care of every single cell in our body, then we can really start making a big difference, right? That is why I am absolutely in love with cold laser therapy, which is the first thing I want to talk to you guys about tonight, especially on the knee. So we're going to go over what cold laser therapy is in tonight's thing, and then especially with the knees and the things that I've seen at the office with the cold laser therapy and the knee are absolutely remarkable. So let's start talking about how it works. Okay. So now that we've talked about that, see how the science has, went after blocking certain proteins, right? Blocking pain pathways, right? So those are two of them. The major one is that gait using hydrotherapy. All of those things are changing your cellular framework. Okay. If you change the way you walk, the cells of your body start to adapt. When they start to adapt, you're actually literally watching cellular change happen. Okay. Now, it's not fancy. It's not crazy on some kind of chart, but you can literally do it. I'm going to tell you a secret. A lot of people in my high school career, coaches, everything, including later in my career, used to call me a name. We had two Jeremys that have played the same position, one left tackle, one right tackle, all the time. And because of that, it made it very confusing when our coach would yell at one of us or ask us to do this thing. He would yell Jeromy. Problem is, we'd both look at him. So one day when my buddy figured out that I run like my toes are way out all the time when I would run, my nickname became Duck. Now, Duck, I did pretty good with feet that were toed out. It wasn't that big a deal. Never really had major issues. The biggest thing is later, and we'll go through it tonight. I had a knee injury in college that where my kneecap would dislocate away from over the top of where your kneecap sits, right? And one time it got stuck behind my knee. It was pretty awful. We had to go, and it was my only surgery in my life. If I would have known what I knew in chiropractic school, I probably could have rehabbed that to a point where I didn't necessarily need that surgery. But the journey to get there was pretty profound. I ended up figuring out a way to change my gait to where I'm actually straight most of the time. I'm sure there's duck feet type situations. I'm still not perfect, right? But I was able to change my gait in a very short time frame. And with that change of gait, my knee health has been fantastic ever since. So let's get back into the other thing that changed that I absolutely in love with. There's not a lot of technique, tools, things out there. Let me stop sharing this real quick. Things out there currently that help your cells do the work. Okay. So most of it is trying to inhibit a cell, and it's not necessarily promoting the cell's ability to heal. Cold laser is an exception to that. Cold laser is sending light energy, basically light frequency, into the cells, activating and giving them more energy to do the work. Okay. So we're going to go through that a little bit, and then we'll go, into the nice cool stuff that I found for you guys tonight. So just wanted to add that in. All right. Here we go. So cold laser therapy, the cellular mechanism. This is the innate intelligence gold mine. It uses this thing called photobiomodulation, and it works by exposing tissue to a low power red, near infrared. There's also blue and green, right? So we have tons of different light frequencies, which increase the cellular activity at the treated site without causing any thermal injury. Mechanistically, light in the near infrared range is absorbed by the cytochrome C oxidase in the mitochondrial respiratory chain, activating the electron transport chain and triggering cellular events through second messengers, including energy and reactive oxygen species and nitric oxide. ATP is literally the cell's energy currency. So we're giving the cell energy. Okay. So we're giving the cell energy. Food is the other way you do that, right? Supplementation, activity, motion, all of those things. The cold laser gives it to it without those kind of things. So this is biologically accurate. The laser boosts your cell's own energy production. Okay. There was a good, strong, recent randomized controlled trial, a double blind with 73 participants, found that photobiomodulation using this laser was effective in reducing pain, improving daily function, and improving quality of life in knee osteoarthritis patients with significant pain reductions compared to both the placebo and the no treatments. Okay. Which is really, really good. There's a lot of cool new technology is always tough because a lot of people are like, I don't know if that works, those kind of things. But I'm telling you, what I'm seeing at the office, what I've experienced myself, cold laser is an amazing way to go. And so I just want to show you some of these technologies that are out there. Okay. So now that we've gone over a little bit of the cold laser, I don't want to spend too much time on that. Let's talk on how we're going to fix this. Okay. So what we're going to do is me and you are going to discuss, for fear, I got a couple YouTube videos, but this one was interesting. The one that I've found in practice, I've seen enough people in my life that I try different things. Think of and imagine that you're swinging on a swing set and how many times you just swing back and forth that knee, right? Think if it's a high one that you just barely put your butt on the swing set, right? And your feet are kind of dangling there. What I've noticed is one of the keys, absolute keys that could change all things is to start, especially with a bad knee, swinging like you're swinging on a swing set. So if you don't have a swing set, maybe find a chair or a stool that's really high, and then you basically just swing back and forth. Now, we're not just going to swing back and forth. We're going to pretend we're walking, right? We're going to pretend we're going to use the motion of walking in the air. And this sounds so ridiculous. But I have two patients, one that does 7 miles a day in his work. Okay. One that is, I think, in the same category. I think he does like 5 miles a day. They both have to wear these horrendous shoes with the metal toes. And of course, it just messes up your whole biomechanics of your foot because this giant lead balloon we got on the end of our foot, this big heavy shoe, but you got to wear it because of the protection, blah, blah, blah. Ends up, we start doing this swing, right? We just do the swing every single night. Now, we started him doing swings in the morning, swings at night. He had the opportunity to. But I told him also, what we're going to work on tonight is I want you to also visualize, we'll get into the swing. You want to make sure your foot is kind of straight and going and pretending that you're actually flowing, your foot is flowing in the air. Now, why this is such a hard thing to do? One reason is our mindset that we have to push it further and further. In my opinion, I think the knee is one of the hardest to heal. It's one of the ones that doesn't get the amount of time. I think physical therapists would agree with me 100%. We never give enough time to true healing of a knee. You see it, the amount of pressure and force and torque that can happen on a knee just based on every other movement pattern in the body. is a very big concern, and as we go, one of the things that happens is we don't have a lot of options. That's why you see hydrotherapy being so effective. Finally taking pressure off this knee. It has a lot of weight on it, right? All the time. So if we constantly are compressing that knee and it already has trouble getting the blood supply to that knee, wouldn't it be smart? Wouldn't it be wise to kind of open it up and kind of take the pressure off the knee? So to me, swinging has like a swing set has helped a few people. I want to make sure that you guys are like thinking this way. Now, I want to step it up one. So, we saw that in the beginning of tonight, we talked about gait being a big thing, right? So, gait helping your knee out quite a bit. I want us to start practicing how to walk. Okay. Barefoot walking is critical, always has been, always will be. But one of the things you can do is visualize while we're still swinging our foot the same motion. Okay. So usually I'll tell people to walk in their house or something, right? This one, I want you to feel it. I want you to kind of stand with a counter, right? This is what actually helped me the most in fixing my gait mechanics, not necessarily running or anything. So think of my hand right now. You have where my thumb is the first toe. Okay. So for my podcast listeners, so you want to, it's kind of this weird C motion in a cool arc. So when we hit the ground, we want to hit slightly on our heel. Then we roll to the outside of our foot just slightly. We roll up to where our pinky toe is. We kind of roll back to across the toes, right, to the big toe, and then we're pushing off our big toe. And then after that, when we go to lift our foot, the big toe is the first one to kind of lift up to like raise us up for the next step. What I want you to do is either visualize that, like let's say you're in your recliner, right, at night watching Blacklist, like what we're doing. So you're going to heel, side of your foot, roll to your big toe. Okay. Just kind of in your head, get those muscles going in that right direction. We don't need to step on it, go through all those things if we start to visualize those things. So if you have a countertop, you can literally just do one step and go through that whole motion like you're touching like every bone and you're trying to move that foot through that flow. Okay. Because if you can get the foot to actually absorb, and I think I have a good foot video that we're going to show. If you can get that foot to kind of absorb, that takes all the pressure off your knees. Okay. So most knee problems are either a foot or a back problem in my world. Okay. Typically, knee problems are because of those two areas. The mechanics are off in your feet, the mechanics are off in your low back, your pelvis, those kind of things. Okay. So hopefully, those are two little tricks. The swing set, though, don't forget, that's a really good one. I'm telling you, you won't believe me until you try it. My one buddy's like, this is ridiculous how much better I feel. And he would just swing 20 little swings at night. It was wild. It was very, very cool. Okay. Let me see what else I got. Sorry about the clunkiness of this. Usually it's right in there. Okay. Oh, okay. So the other one I like is shaking your legs out. So like just if you ever watch a dog, here we go. Let's see if it'll do it. Look at this. Oh, I got to do it one. Little doggy stretching. All right. So that one was pretty good. How about this one? Look at how they're doing their knees and their hips. Look at how they stretch those legs. Oh man, that's cool. That's very cool. All right. So, oh look, did it do it? Sweet. Somehow. Okay, hang on. I'll get back in. Oh, it didn't do it. Okay. So I'm like locked up here. Sorry, guys. Something happened. Oh, come on. Did it knock me out? Man, man, Facebook is really tricky. Okay. So hopefully you're all, I didn't lose any of you. The Facebook thing always gets me. But hopefully you guys got to see that. Stretch like you're an animal. Stretch those legs like you're an animal, like a dog or a cat, right? That's why I did those. Those are really cute. But we could learn a lot from that. Like the warm-ups of animals is the way to do that. Now we don't, we just get up and we want to start pounding on those knees. We lay down at night. We put all this pressure on our knees all day. And then we get right out of bed. We start walking around. We never really warm up those knees. And so that's one of the things. Stretching's okay, but also kind of shaking it out. Think of a dog that's wet, right? That wet dog, kind of shake your legs out. When I play basketball, I do that shake out leg thing and it works every single time. So it's just one of those things that gets the firing, the muscles active, and all those good things. Okay. So hopefully, sorry about that. I think everything's working. Hydrotherapy. Hydrotherapy is the next one that I would say in a pool, but let's change our perspective on this. So not just swimming and all those things. Like we talked about with the gait, walk in the pool, use that resistance in the right direction. Sometimes I'll even tell people put like a water shoe on in a pool so that you can get a good grip. And then you could actually work that heel side of the foot, toe off kind of situation. Skipping is always fantastic. Skipping is weird because it forces your brain into a neurology that's really hard, especially when you're a kid, it's no big deal. But what you're doing is you're exploding off your big toe, right? So you're exploding off your big toe and raising your leg. So a lot of times you'll end up in that almost perfect situation to do the rehab on your knees. Okay. So let me see. I don't know. I want to show you guys the. So here's a good one for stretching that. Okay, here we go. All right. Okay. Let's get to the. Okay, so this guy goes a little deeper than I would. Oh,
and do a full range of motion. It's a very simple exercise, but it takes your knees through that full range of motion. And
yeah, so this is just kind of a simple way to do it. Okay.
As you do this, you may actually feel like
some of you aren't going to be able to do that, and that is fine. But this is a really good. See how he's up on his toes too.
Your knee joints pop or crack a little bit, almost like when you're cracking your knuckles. You know that to do is some regular body weight squats. So we take a little wider than shoulder width, toes pointed out to the sides, and we're just going to do some deep squats like this. And this is going to get the knees. It's also going to help to warm up the.
That one's really good as well. Now, see how his feet were kind of out? If you're watching that, what you want to do is kind of do a forward, kind of inside, and kind of outside kind of body squat. Okay. So
we're going to do them very light for high reps. So head on over to the leg extension machine, put a light weight on it, maybe 10.
Yeah. Leg extension machines can be pretty good too. But it's one of those. Let me get out of there. I saw that one and I thought you guys would like those. And then this is the other one I want to show you really quick. Okay. So one of the things we're going to do is when you do these exercises, kind of get your knee warmed up internally. So it's like you're pigeon-toed, right? Straight and then out. So like duck toed, right? So we're going to have all the 3 different movement patterns. And sometimes shaking your leg out with your foot in, shaking with your straight, shaking it with your foot out. Now, the reason you do that is because you're improving the mechanics at that knee. Okay. So this kid's going to show you on this video real quick, like what you would do there. Okay. To kind of, this is just, you don't have to do this exercise in particular, but this is something that's important. All right, let's turn that off and then go after it. So he's got his foot out. Now he's going to turn his foot in. And then he's going to go straight. Okay. Quite simple stuff, but it's very important to understand. Okay. All right. I'm trying to get this is tough doing the screen share. It was like built in. So that's the hard part. Okay. So now this. Okay. Okay. So this is wrong statement on there. Man, my slideshow. All right. So now we're going to go over supplementation, which is very interesting to me, especially with cartilage and cartilage repair, all those things. Very interesting what is out there, because in even in the research shows that chondroitin and glucosamine are the go-tos. The problem is there's not a lot of great info that says that those are fantastic. So that's the biggest one. I want to make sure you understand that there's other things out there that you might want to experiment with. Chondroitin and glucosamine are the one, let's say medical chiropractors, all of us go to, right? But there's one little tricky one. It's on this list, but it's called boswellia. And so we'll talk about that. But I want to show you the other ones that are pretty awesome. So these are the supplementation that I would recommend, possibly. So this new one, this one is having the strongest evidence right now. It's unnatured type 2 collagen. Okay. So undenatured type 2 collagen. So they call it UC2 collagen. It's had a head-to-head trial found that this kind of collagen is more effective than glucosamine plus chondroitin combined. And it's a newer supplement out there. Okay. So you're seeing it with bone broths. Sometimes I think they advertise as like a peptide, I think. But when you're looking for stuff, it's undenatured type 2 collagen. So this is a really good one. Hey, by the way, if you're doing a lot of broths with like really good organic chicken and fish, you're going to get some of this. So remember that. All right. Hydrolyzed type 2 collagen is the other one. This provides cartilage-specific amino acids and bioactive peptides that stimulate chondrocyte activity, reducing joint pain and supporting cartilage structure, for clinical trials showing huge improvements over 3 to 6 months. So hydrolyzed type 2 collagen adds the supplementation. So that both of those could be innate intelligence, worthy, based on what? We're giving the body the best tools it can do to create the best innate intelligence we can do. So that one makes sense. Boswellia in my herbal world. Okay. is, I'm sorry. So you see the under-natured type 2 collagens, like 40 milligrams a day. Hydrolyzed type 2 is 1 to 10 grams per day, which is a lot more. Boswellia is between 100 and 250 milligrams per day. And it stands out for speed. It offers very fast pain relief for osteoarthritis, knee pain especially, often within 7 days, working through anti-inflammatory pathways rather than slowing cartilage support, the slower cartilage support route. It's a great option for quick relief of osteoarthritis pain, Boswellia. MSN, which is methylsulfonylmethane, a 2023 randomized double-blind study found participants who took MSN daily for 12 weeks experienced noticeable improvement in knee discomfort compared to placebo. A combination of MSM is what it's called. When you go look the supplement up, it's called MSN. And glucosamine chondroitin improve joint health more effectively than just glucosamine and chondroitin alone. Okay. Omega-3 fatty acids made the list. So omega-3s like good fish oil, krill oil, like we talked about the other night. A meta-analysis found a small but statistically significant benefit. It's suggesting that omega-3s may help reduce joint pain and improve some mobility, which makes a little sense. And this is where this one's going to fit in quite well. Curcumin and curcuminoids. If you know where these are, you're talking turmeric, ginger. It's the active compounds in those type of things. It's frequently studied for a knee osteoarthritis pain and function, and it fits really good with anti-inflammatory type lifestyle. So anti-inflammatory food also. Okay. So but it takes the tops. It's like the sixth one. Okay. So osteoarthritis of the knee, you're going to lean on more of these unddenatured type 2 collagen, hydrolyzed collagen, type 2 collagen, or Boswellia, I would say. Unless you are a diehard, add MSN to your glucosamine and chondroitin. Some people find it's really, really good. So I can't argue with them. Now, what we're going to do is our final piece tonight. Hopefully you enjoyed it. I feel bad. I feel bad it got a little clunky there, but hopefully you guys are enjoying tonight. So our last part, right? So we got to look at thoughts, toxins, trauma. A lot of it tonight was trauma, right? Gait relearning, gait training, a lot of those things, swinging, doing things to improve your knee from going through the trauma, right? Remember the toxins piece, right? Anti-inflammatory diet's always the way to go. But looking at that, the UC2 cartilage and hydrolyzed type 2 cartilage could be a really good supplement. Boswellia is the go-to for the knee pain kind of stuff. So now we're going to talk about thoughts. Okay. So we always list thoughts, toxins, trauma is always the thing. So we always end it with a couple mantras that might help a little bit. You never know where that knee pain comes from, but these could help you, right? Because sometimes subconscious programs are manifested in painful actual conditions. And Louise Hay, who is an amazing author that wrote a book in the 80s, like early 80s, kind of linked subconscious programs that could be a direct result of the pain area as well. So let us start with that. So I always bring these up, especially because we want to look at all the stuff. Okay. So for the knee specifically, that Louise Hay says it's a kind of associated with pride and ego, stubborn pride, inability to bend, fear, and inflexibility. Essentially, a refusal to give in or yield. The healing thought she pairs with is centered on forgiveness, understanding, and compassion. Learning to bend and flow with ease. Okay. So this is fear of moving forward or making a decision. Resistance to change or not wanting to bend on a stance or belief. feeling unsupported or off balance in some area of life, old subconscious beliefs about not being flexible enough to adapt. Okay. But in my world, remember this, we never focus on why. If it is the reason, okay, that's cool. But we have to be able to move on from that. And the only way you can a lot of times is understand the subconscious program and start living it a little differently, right? So here are the sayings and the positive vibes that you want to say this week. So I'll slow down for my podcast people. Hopefully don't get in an accident writing these down. I'm just kidding. But if you belong to tribe1.substack.com, you'd have these in a newsletter form and you wouldn't have to write it down. Okay, so here's the affirmations. I bend and flow with ease, and all is well. I am flexible and flowing. So my first one is I bend and flow with ease, and all is well. I am flexible and flowing. And then the last one is I easily flow with change. My life is divinely guided, and I am always going in the best direction. I easily flow with change. My life is divinely guided, and I am always going in the best direction. All right. So now, what are we going to do for our week? If you know somebody with knee issues, then what we need to do is talk. So chiropractic probably would be first. Let's evaluate that gait mechanism. Let's adjust. Let's make sure all the joints of your feet, your knees, your hips, everything's kind of balanced up. And then we can start doing some stuff. Soft tissue therapies, like learn how to balance with maybe some gua sha, maybe some muscle balance technique. We have a new technique I'm so excited about at the office. It's called pain neutralization technique that most of our doctors are learning. We have Dr. Ashley that's going to be very specific in learning that. Cold laser, which we kind of go over, remember the photobiomodulation, where it actually improves the cellular energy within the joint. Super good on knees. So if you know somebody like that, let's go after it. New shoes or gait retraining, right? So we went over that. That is something that would be very critical. If you have knee problems now, gait retraining is where you need to be. Strengthen your knee with all the stretches, swinging, trying to walk with the heel, side of your foot, toe off, right? Stretch like an animal would do in the morning, making sure warming up, shake your legs out like you got water on them, like a dog does. Try to eat as best anti-inflammatory as you can. Get some of that UC2 type 2 cartilage. Get some of that hydrolyzed type 2 cartilage. Try some boswellia. There's a lot of good options out there, and I think it's one of my missions. In the sense of once I discovered chiropractic, a knee surgery is back as far back as that was. It's like 30 years. My knee has felt stronger and better than it ever has. Never really had any major issues with it. And I want other people to experience that actually, and one of the reasons is because I had a great journey. Once you have an injury, you kind of focus right in on that injury, like through school and everything else, and knowing what I had to do to make sure it was pretty good over these many, many years. So with that said, guys, I hope you have a great night. I hope this was okay. Man, when you're getting old, if technology gets off a little bit, you like freak out and don't know what to do. I figured all the podcasting out and I love it. And, but sometimes kind of messed myself up pretty good. So don't forget Wednesday night, 8:30, we'll be doing Whole Health Weekly, where we'll go over a bunch of cool articles, hopefully, getting some interviews lined up. So that's usually the night I'll probably have those interviews as well. So, with that said, have a great week. Enjoy the outdoors. It should be fantastic. So With that said, have a good night.